It's quiet here now. A silence that speaks volumes, doesn't it? You can almost hear the echoes of the past in the stones beneath your feet. A name that instantly conjures images of tragedy, of a city frozen in time by the wrath of a volcano. But what if I told you the story isn't just about sudden destruction? What if there were whispers, signs, warnings that were, for whatever reason, ignored? Imagine a vibrant city, full of life. People walking to the market, children playing games, merchants selling their wares. Homes filled with laughter and the aroma of cooking. Pompeii in its day was a thriving Roman town, nestled in a beautiful bay, with the seemingly peaceful Mount Vesuvius in the distance. Life went on day after day. The sun rose and set over that majestic mountain. Did anyone look at it with a sense of unease? Did anyone feel a tremor beneath their feet and think twice? The truth is, the ground did speak. Long before the sky rained ash and fire. Years before the cataclysm of 79 AD, Pompeii and the surrounding region experienced a significant earthquake in 62 AD. This wasn't a minor tremor. It caused widespread damage. Buildings crumbled, infrastructure was affected, and the city was in a state of repair for years afterward. Think about that. A major earthquake. It would have shaken the very foundations of their lives, both literally and figuratively. People would have lost homes, businesses. The disruption would have been immense. Yet, life slowly began to return to normal. The Roman spirit was resilient. They rebuilt. But did the memory of that earthquake fade completely? Did they truly believe that the earth wouldn't move again in such a dramatic way? Or was there a sense of denial, a hope that it was a one-off event? It's human nature, isn't it? To want to believe in stability, in the predictable rhythm of life. After a crisis, the urge to return to normalcy is strong. Perhaps they reasoned that such a powerful event wouldn't happen again in their lifetime. Or maybe the repairs became the focus, a sign of recovery rather than a lingering warning. But the earth wasn't silent. Leading up to the eruption, there were reports of smaller tremors. Subtle shifts, perhaps easily dismissed as minor disturbances. But in hindsight, knowing what was to come, these small events take on a much more ominous significance. Beyond the tremors, there might have been other signs that nature was restless. Changes in well water levels, perhaps springs drying up or behaving erratically. These could have been subtle indicators of underground activity. And what about the mountain itself? Did anyone notice anything unusual? A slight swelling, perhaps, or new cracks appearing on its slopes? Living in its shadow, day in and day out, maybe these subtle changes went unnoticed or were simply accepted as part of the landscape. Sometimes, animals are more attuned to changes in the environment than we are. Were there unusual patterns in animal behavior? Birds fleeing the area? It's hard to say for sure from the historical record, but it's a possibility to consider. It's easy for us, looking back with the knowledge of what happened, to see these as clear warnings. But imagine being there, living in that time. Life has its demands, its routines. Concerns about daily survival, family, business, these would have taken precedence. It's possible that these subtle signs were simply filtered out, not consciously ignored, but not fully appreciated either. The mountain stood there, a constant presence. Beautiful even, a backdrop to their lives. Perhaps its benign appearance lulled them into a false sense of security. We do have a very important eyewitness account of the events leading up to and during the eruption, the letters of Pliny the Younger. He was staying across the bay and observed the unfolding disaster. Pliny describes a strange cloud appearing over Vesuvius in the late morning of August 24th. He likens it to a pine tree, rising high into the sky with a trunk and spreading branches. Initially, it might have seemed like an interesting meteorological phenomenon. Something unusual, perhaps, but not necessarily threatening. But soon, ash and small stones began to rain down on the surrounding areas. Pliny and his mother decided to flee. His uncle, Pliny the Elder, a renowned scholar, famously sailed closer to investigate and to help those in need, ultimately losing his life. Pliny the Younger's account details the growing darkness, the thick layer of ash accumulating on the ground, the panic of the people fleeing. It paints a picture of a rapidly escalating catastrophe. Tragically, for many in Pompeii, the eruption happened so quickly, and the initial warnings, if heeded, might have made a difference. But by the time the pine tree cloud was clearly a sign of imminent disaster, it was likely too late for many. So, why were these potential warnings, the earthquakes, the subtle environmental changes, not enough to prompt a mass evacuation or a greater sense of urgency? One possibility is simply the normalcy bias. The tendency for people to underestimate the likelihood of a disaster, especially if they haven't experienced one of that magnitude before. Life in Pompeii was good for many. It was a comfortable, established society. Disrupting that would have been a difficult decision based on uncertain signs. Perhaps there was a lack of understanding about volcanoes. Vesuvius might have been seen as just a mountain, a scenic backdrop, not an active threat capable of such destruction. Scientific understanding at the time was limited. The focus on rebuilding after the major earthquake in 62 AD might have also played a role. Their energy and resources were directed towards recovery, and the idea of another, even greater disaster might have seemed unthinkable or too overwhelming to contemplate. In Roman society, there was also a strong reliance on omens and the interpretations of religious figures. Perhaps any warnings were seen through this lens, and the true danger wasn't recognized. Practical considerations would have also been a factor. Leaving one's home, one's livelihood, is a huge decision. Where would they go? What would they do? Without a clear and universally accepted warning, the inertia of daily life would have been a powerful force. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? How easily we can become complacent, how readily we can dismiss the subtle signs that something is wrong. The story of Pompeii serves as a powerful reminder of the potential consequences of ignoring warnings, whether they come from the earth itself or from other sources. Today, we have a much greater understanding of geology and volcanology. Scientists constantly monitor active volcanoes, looking for the telltale signs of an impending eruption, changes in gas emissions, ground deformation, increased seismic activity. This monitoring allows for early warnings, giving people time to evacuate and potentially saving countless lives. The lessons learned from Pompeii and other volcanic disasters have been invaluable in developing these systems. Emergency preparedness is also crucial. Knowing evacuation routes, having emergency supplies, and understanding the risks in your area can make a significant difference when disaster strikes. The story of Pompeii isn't just a historical tragedy, it's a human story. A story about a city caught unaware, perhaps lulled into a sense of security, and ultimately overwhelmed by a force of nature. These artifacts, frozen in time, offer us a glimpse into the lives of the people who lived and died there. They remind us of our shared humanity and the fragility of life. Let the silence of Pompeii be a reminder to pay attention to the whispers, to heed the signs, and to never take the power of nature for granted.